96.7 KCAL rocks. It is Patrick in the morning and time to talk some sports with our guy, Pep. Pep, what's going on?
Yo, Patrick, good morning, man. Hey, we are about to crown some champions right now. I'm talking about the Stanley Cup Finals, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They're up 3-1 on Florida. And then also in the NBA Finals, the Denver Nuggets are 1 win away from being crowned NBA champions for the first time. They're up 3-1 on the Miami Heat. And Game 5 is tonight, so the NBA season could be finished tonight if the Nuggets win on their home floor.
It is just hard to believe that Denver is going to win a championship. I mean, I shouldn't say that because it's not over till it's over, but it certainly feels that way. I mean, Denver, they are going to be partying. I don't think anybody's going to be working that next day.
No, man. I think this is a long time coming for the Denver Nuggets. And I remember, and you remember, Mount Mutombo, right? Dikembe Mutombo and some of those good Denver Nuggets teams. But they've never had a team like this. Never had a team this good to go all the way. They kind of remind me of the Milwaukee Bucks a couple years ago when they won the title. They got that one superstar player. They got other good players around him. I don't know if I'm ready to say Denver is a dynasty like the Nuggets are the team to beat year after year after year. But like Milwaukee, they had one really great season to bring their city a championship. And I'd be stunned if Denver doesn't finish the job. Now, Miami's gritty, and they're not going to give up. And these guys are fighters, and they're going to try to punch their way out of a corner. But, man, it sure looks like Denver might even get it done tonight. This NBA season might be finished tonight.
Man, they have come a long ways, that is for sure. I mean, I was at the game in 1994 when Dikembe Mutombo was rolling all over the floor after beating my Sonics in Game 5, and it was the most depressing sports memory that I have, to be honest with you. And to see them all the way now to about to be on the precipice of a championship is pretty amazing, but kudos to them.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick. Seattle was the number 1 seed, and Denver was the number 8 seed. So it's different this year. Denver was the best team in the Western Conference, but at the time you're talking about, the Nuggets weren't even supposed to be in that position beating Seattle.
And those were our years, too. That was the 2 years when Jordan was gone. And I'm telling you, we would have beat the Rockets because when we finally did break through that first round, we swept the Rockets. It sucked.
It's tough being a Seattle sports fan, man. Sonics, Mariners. I mean, Seahawks have had some success, but it's tough.
There is a little bit of talk about expansion to Vegas and Seattle, possibly at the same time, and then move Memphis over to the East Coast. I am praying that is true, but I don't want to take us too far off course. I'm just hoping.
No. I get that. Well, if the Nuggets win tonight and they get their first NBA title, then we can put a bow and wrap up this season, and we can start talking about the Lakers again. And if the Lakers can do it next year, because that's what everybody wants to talk about, right? Is, well, can the Lakers do it next year? And what are they missing? And, well, is LeBron still got enough left in the tank? So all the Lakers conversation will ramp up as soon as tomorrow morning hits if Denver can win tonight and the season is officially over. Because really, the Lakers, it's cliche, but they move the needle, right? They if people want to talk about them, there's lots of stuff on social media, all the sports talk shows. So it'll be a lot of Lakers talk if Denver can win tonight moving forward now. So.
No doubt about it. It'll be the storyline. I mean, prepare yourselves out there.
Yes. Oh, yes. And speaking of the Nuggets real quick, so Nikola Jokic obviously having a historic NBA Finals. First guy to post a 30-20-10, a triple-double during the NBA Finals. So he's going to be the Finals MVP, assuming the Nuggets hold on. But he's not, real quick, he's not the only Joker making history today. Patrick, I would be lying to your face right now if I said that I'm a big tennis guy. I'm not, but I watch and keep an eye on the Grand Slams. And the other Joker, Novak Djokovic, won his 23rd major in the tennis circuit. He won the French Open, which is insane. That's a new men's record. Again, I like GOATs. When we're talking about the greatest of all time, he's the GOAT when it comes to men's tennis. There's nobody better than Djokovic, the Joker.
It's very true. I live across the street from the Indian Wells Tennis Garden, so I hear what you're saying. It's a big talk out there in the desert.
It is. Novak Djokovic is a very big deal. And again, I'd be lying if I said, I watch tennis all the time. No, I don't. I don't watch tennis all the time. But I like to keep an eye on the GOATs. I keep an eye on those major events, the Grand Slams. And, for him to win his 23rd is just unbelievable. There's no one else like him. So keep an eye on those jokers. 2 jokers talking about this morning. All right, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk NFL, the National Football League. Patrick, it's almost time, man. We got mandatory mini camps going on And the big news in the NFL this past week, and it kind of hits really close to home, is the fact that the Minnesota Vikings cut their star running back, Dalvin Cook, and it looks like he might end up with the Miami Dolphins. But the way it comes back here to the IE, and specifically San Bernardino, is our guy Alexander Mattison, the backup running back for the Minnesota Vikings. He just signed a new two-year contract this offseason. I think Minnesota knew what they were doing. They brought back Alexander on a 2-year contract knowing that he's going to be their guy. He's going to be running back number 1 going into this season now for the Vikings.
Right, and I think what people are forgetting, including me, I was like, why on earth would you get rid of Dalvin Cook? And I think we kind of forgot is he's had some off-the-field issues.
Yeah.
And I think that the Vikings knew that was coming, and we'll see what happens with him. However, there is landing spots for Dalvin Cook from what I hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that will be surprising to see where he lands. So good for our boy, though.
Yeah.
It's his time now.
And that's the thing. I think it's kind of bittersweet because if I've talked to Alexander Mattison quite a bit, and he looks at Dalvin Cook as like a big brother. I mean, in their uniform, they almost look the same because they have the long braided hair. Dalvin Cook wears 4. Alexander Mattison wears number 2 again because that's what he wore when he was a little kid in San Bernardino. But he really looked up to this guy. But it's kind of bittersweet. You look up to this guy. You're probably more than friends at this point. And now you have to see him go, but now this is your shot, man. Alexander probably could have had a chance to go to another NFL team this offseason and been that starting running back, that number 1 guy, all 3 down kind of running back. But he chose to stay with Minnesota, signed a new 2-year contract, and now he's going to get his shot, man. I mean, he has proven, he's shown flashes that he could be a starting running back. He's a great runner. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and now his shot. Again, bittersweet, I'm sure, for him, but now this is his shot to really shine. And if he has a great season or 2 for Minnesota, it could create a big payday. It could create a big contract for Alexander Mattison.
I could see it happening, and it's his time. I hope he does it.
Yeah, it is his time, and I'm glad it's in Minnesota for him because he really likes being there. The other cool NFL note, that doesn't really have to do necessarily with mandatory minicamps, but I'm a NASCAR fan, I'm an NFL fan, and the two worlds might be colliding because I don't know if you saw this, Patrick. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to have some big-time renovations coming to their stadium, and they might be displaced for a season or 2 or maybe more, so they need an alternative home site, and they're thinking of playing at Daytona International Speedway on the infield at Daytona. Now, we don't know if this is going to happen for sure or when it's going to happen or for how long, but it's absolutely on the table that the Jaguars are talking about it with the people at Daytona. That would be pretty cool to go to a NASCAR track and have a NFL game taking place on the infield. I'd just love to see something like that.
Wow, that would definitely be different. I have been to Daytona myself, and it is massive, so there definitely is a ton of room on that infield. Also, I've been to the Supercross there, so I mean, there's a room to put a huge Supercross track, so they could easily fit a football field and put stands there. No one's ever thought of it, but it would work.
Yeah, it's an option. I mean, there's other places down there in Florida where they could go, but Daytona apparently is at the front of the list, or at least an option. So I was like, just the novelty of seeing something like that, an NFL game inside a NASCAR stadium. It's like my worlds colliding. 2 of my favorite things coming together. So that'd be really cool if that could happen.
Totally cool.
Hey, and finally, Patrick, a little more football news. We've been talking about these football camps at the University of Redlands. Now, these camps are designed for the top high school football players in the Inland Empire to come together, and then these colleges from all up and down the West Coast, some from the East Coast, actually some Ivy schools as well have been coming out to the U of R to see our high school football guys working out, competing, going up against one another. And tonight is what they bill as the mega camp. And tonight at the mega camp, I think there's going to be like 30 schools, and 2 of them, UCLA and USC, at the same camp together. So these coaches from the Bruins and the Trojans help run the camp. Chip Kelly will be there. Lincoln Riley is expected to be there. So it's a big, big deal. And again, these guys could be anywhere in the world, but they're coming to the IE. They're coming to Redlands to check out our guys, our high school football players here in the Inland Empire. It's going to be a pretty sweet deal. It's going to be a packed house. They call it the mega camp for a reason.
Right, and it's not surprising. I mean, obviously, very cool that is happening right here in our backyard. But, I mean, it does make sense. countless athletes have come out of this area. So now they're like, dang it, let's just have a camp here. And these guys can come see all our badass athletes. It's just even more opportunity. Yeah. I think it is amazing and really cool.
It's a win-win. For our guys, they don't have to travel all over the place and visit these schools. And for the college coaches, they come out here to the U of R and they see about 300, 400 kids one-stop shopping. Like, you see them all right in front of you. You can actually even offer a scholarship on the spot if you wanted to.
So cool. So good luck to all those guys out there doing their thing, and to our guy doing his thing. We will catch up with him on Thursday with his sports. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
Hey, I'm doing my thing all week long on Inland Sports, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook also. The Inland Sports YouTube channel also, so make sure you subscribe. That is Inland Sports. Just doing my thing.